When an invader reaches a certain point in their career, they start to realize that invading is something they do often, but not particularly well. Therefore, I will spend this entire video going over my failures and what I can improve on. So I see that I've got a 3-man gank here. They're already throwing spells, and I already get caught against a wall by my own inability to roll properly. And they are intent on chasing me down, and I realize that I have to heal or I'm going to die instantly. And that's exactly what happens. Things I could have done better is immediately run for the staircase to get the high ground and not be in a situation where I'm getting blundered. But that's something that's an initial decision-making process that I just need to know how to do from the get-go. I did not respect their threat range. Because of the prevalence of the White Birch Branch and Chameleon, I spend an inordinate amount of time looking around, trying to discern if anything is there. But I should have just realized that because these knights aren't active yet, that they haven't come here. So now I'm starting to think that they've gone up above to the Dragon Slayer armor. So it's here I've realized I've already messed up and I have to go all the way back up through the level because I miscalculated where they would be. And I see that the Blade of the Dark Moon took damage from something off in the distance, so I'm ready to run after them. And now I see here that these hollows are going up this ladder, presumably to chase the host, so I start to run up in the opposite direction. And I see the blue just through the banister there, so I know roughly where they're at, but I don't know if the host is lying in wait somewhere to ambush me. I don't want to fight them in this room, but I get immediately hit by the Blade of the Dark Moon right off the bat. And then I get ganked from behind, so I'm already on the back foot, completely exposed. So I'm trying to run after this knight to try and get some cover. And I do eventually manage to do that. And I see that this guy's a mage, so it's a pain. And I am buffed, but also hit by the Undead Hunter Charm, which is a unique situation, but is just enough that I can try to fight this guy on my own. But now that I'm realizing I'm not going to win the situation, I decide to turn it and run because I know that there's an escape route this way and that I can heal once this wears off. But I'm still buffed, so that's pretty good. And I'm not taking as much damage from them because my defense is up. So I switch to the cat ring because I'm ready to drop off, and I'm not exactly sure where it is up here, but I know that there's a spot in the banister. I figure I could try to run past this Great Shield, but it's no use. They're going to just try to hit me from the other side of it. But with dark damage, I am demolishing this guy through his Great Shield. If they were smart, they would have run after me here, but they are intent upon holding this chokehold, which is pretty intelligent. They get me again with the Undead Hunter Charm, but it doesn't matter because I get past them. I understand that the threat of them running through the boss fog exists, but it's a 3-man group, and the blues do want their Concord. I don't think they're going to chase after me, because who would in this situation? So I'm ready to run back up and just try to fight them again. Using ledges as a means of escape can be good, but I've started to really screw myself by doing it because it really alleviates a lot of pressure if you have to run back through the level. They have opportunities to buff, they have opportunities to heal, they have opportunities to switch their armor and weapons to better suit your entire layout. They have the opportunity to summon a new phantom. It can be as much of an advantage as it is a disadvantage. And this is nothing new. It's not like I'm not pretending to like know everything about drop off pressure alleviation, but it's something that I have recognized in my playstyle that can be detrimental as well as it is beneficial. This guy comes back, and I am not exactly sure how to deal with this Great Shield. I figure I can just put enough chip damage in that it won't be too much of a problem, and that once he rolls away, I can try to chase him down. But I completely miss him putting Great Magic Shield on it here, and it leads me to be incredibly confused as to why I'm not doing any chip damage through the shield. So I try to roll back to get a buff or a heal from the PvE, but I just get chased down and die. I probably could have tried to use a bow there to bait them a little better, but at the end of the day, they were using a spear and cell swords and great shield. It would have been very difficult to circumvent on my own. Maybe horse hoof ring to kick through the great shield. Maybe Night Slayer's ring. Maybe a mace. Lots of options. Things to think about. I uncharacteristically let this guy deal with his PvE here. And I start to walk up the stairs because I know what happens when I try to fight down in that area. It becomes a terrible time. And we do our dueling thing here, as it turns out. And I'm the first to heal, which leads him to heal. But I don't want to die, so I heal. And I go for a really premature parry, but I did predict that he was just going to walk up an R1, so at least there's that. And he is really good at laying on the pressure. That I have recognized. He actually does the flip here, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it certainly appears to have been. And he's really mixing up his moveset, so this person knows what's up. And now there's a blue, which makes this substantially more difficult. I'm flubbing this solo part so hard. I feel like that R1 should have traded, but it didn't. Blue comes up behind me, and I decide to pedal back because maybe I'll get some cover from the PvE, but I get blendered against that little knight part, and then I get pyromancies thrown at me, and R1s and various things, and I'm just trying to roll away, and I'm just trying to get another heal off, but I realize that I'm out of Estus, so there's not really anything I can do. So at this point, I'm kind of stuck. 2 curved swords versus me and my dinky longsword. So now I'm just trying to get the PvE to aggro onto them. Maybe I can get a lucky play or something. And then this actually would not have been so bad. This entire part would not have been terrible. I finished the blue, and then there's another blue on the way. And I get this guy with another R1. And I'm so intent on just finishing him off that I spam the L2 button a little bit early. And I run out of stamina, which is something that can happen very easily with this build. And then he catches me with 2 good L1s, I think it is. And it's just the end of it. But if I had conserved my stamina a little better there and staggered my L2s, I would have had a better chance of killing him. So this guy swings at me, which leads me to think that I'm seated, but I'm not. It's just that when you walk by enemies, sometimes they'll pretend like they're aggroed. Which, I don't know if it's something with my game or if it's something with everyone else's, but it's just something I've noticed. So I come down here looking for them because I think they're going to be down here. And I see that this bonfire doesn't appear lit, but it might be. And of course I have no idea where they could be, but I do see that they have taken the prayer set from the box. So they've had to have gotten at least that far on one playthrough. And now I'm seeing the health bars up here. So I put on the cat ring and I'm ready to drop down here, but I was a little early. So now I've got a Sunbro that knows immediately where I'm at in kind of a disadvantaged situation. And I parry a little early on the 3rd swing. So I drop down and I'm at 1 health, and I'm just trying to escape to heal. This guy gets me with a running attack, but it doesn't matter too much, and then I screw up another parry. This was probably during the invasions where I was still practicing parry stuff, because I never really use it. And then he's trying to backstab me. So that's a red flag. So I run off, hoping that maybe I'll gets some space between us. And then this guy clips me with his second R1, which is sad, but like whatever. I go for another horrible parry, but like, you're only gonna learn if you try. You can't just become good at it by not doing it. And then I get stuck against a wall and I just get hit. Walls are my biggest enemy sometimes. I always rotate the camera to try and have them in view, and then sometimes it screws me because I can't see where the walls are. I think I would rather just die to walls than getting hit by stray hits. So I come into Irithyll Dungeon, and there's no one to be found anywhere, so I'm just kind of backtracking, seeing where they're at. And going up through this area is also dangerous, so I'm trying to check the corners a bit. And now I come up here, and I'm looking, and I don't see anything. And that sucks, because now I have to go all the way back down. But it also tells me exactly where they're supposed to be, which is somewhere in the central dungeon area, probably. Because they haven't opened the shortcut that goes down into the rat room yet. So I poke my head out, and I see the first jailer dead, which is a good sign, which means I'm on my way. And now I almost mistake this guy for a white phantom. But I put my obscuring ring on just so that I can have a bit of an element of surprise if I do see them first. It's Irithyll Dungeon. It's a hide-and-seek merry-go-round every time I go in. So I'm kind of hesitant to cross the bridge here because it's potentially disadvantageous. So I see someone come through and he either doesn't see me or just recognizes it a little too late. And this Sunbro creeps up behind me. This Tears Sunbro, and now a mage, and now a pyromancer, and I'm immediately out of there. Like, I'm done. That is a no-go. So I get hit, and then I drop down here, and then because I don't swap to the cat ring, I die. So this immediately prompts me to go to the Profaned Capital and practice cat ring swaps for like at least 15 to 20 minutes. Doing swaps in general, although they're really good, are not my jam. This next invasion is a good example of not understanding spatial threat, spatial awareness. So I see that there's at least 3 people here, and I know that I have a co-invader, which is great. That's fantastic. Somebody to take a little pressure off. So he's a Chaos Fireball Pyro, which is great. So I go after this Onionite because I am assuming that the other co-invader is doing something. But he is getting chased down by the host or something all the way in the back. So I miscalculated how much he was able to do. And with a Pyro build like that, which is very similar to mine, it can only do so much. So now we have here an example of folly. I throw a firebomb to alert them to my presence, and I immediately switch to the obscuring ring. I don't have the Millwood bow on this build because there's like no stat investment other than faith and int. So I don't really have an option for long range burst damage like I do with a strength build, which does kind of suck. But I'm thinking that I can maybe just drop an Undead Hunter Charm on them and then plunge attack. But I miss it, and that kind of discourages me from doing that. So I switch to the cat ring, and I'm trying to decide the best course of action here. There being maybe 1 or 2 actually decent courses of action. And I see that he's summoning, which sucks. Here I R1 into Hyper Armor, which is super stupid, and I see that this guy has like no health. So I'm ready to just finish him off. So I have to keep up the pressure here, otherwise this is going to go on for a very long time. I know that I'm probably getting chased from behind, but, like, there's only so much I could do about that. This guy has to die now, or he's never going to die. The damage from this Dragon Slayer Great Axe is absurd. This Phantom has to be at least soul level 90. At least. I'm at like 75. He might even be like 100 or something like that. So I drop down here to take the heat off of me. And I think I'm still wearing the Obscuring Ring, so I just check. So at least it's difficult for them to tell when I will be getting back. They can kind of predict roughly, but they won't be able to see my approach. So I'm already down to 2 Estus, which isn't great. The Dragon Slayer axe hurts way too much. And it's kind of hard to space out because it swings on verticals like the spear. So I should probably be unlocked when I'm trying to contest that so that I could hit him from the side. I don't really know why I go up here. I think I'm just trying to get, like, a look on the bonfire from above so that I don't get hit. But I don't even look down in here, so that was kind of stupid. And I see that they're fighting the crow guy above, and it would have been much to my advantage to be there to assist him, even if it hits me. These are actually the same guys from the last clip, now that I'm thinking about it. And yeah, this Phantom is quite high level. This is probably a Dragon Slayer Axe Twink of some kind, I'm assuming. Though he is wearing kind of weird armor, so maybe he's just some guy. And now I'm out of Estus. And I'm getting buffered around, and I don't really have a whole lot of a plan, and I just kind of get blundered and die. I do not know where the host went. I have no idea. Things that could have gone better, going for roll backstabs versus that Onion Bro, definitely something I should have tried. Generally not swinging a spear into a Dragon Slayer axe, or going for more mix-up approaches, where I do sort of run baits. More than anything, I wanted to keep up the pressure on him, because if I didn't, he would have healed, and I wouldn't have been able to put him away, but he did heal anyway, and it didn't work out. So I guess this is a lesson in survivability over pressure. I'm a little surprised I didn't get a co-invader in that entire time, unless they didn't dried finger. Because I did get the co-invader in their world prior. Who knows? So I start to see this guy out here with the Orm's Machete and an Avalon, and that's kind of not good. But any invader will tell you that if you try to fight out here, it's going to be a nightmare. So I waved to this guy, but he just blasts me with the Avalon. Combustion bolts, which is just great. It takes off, like, a whole chunk of my health. So now I have to back off, because, like, trying to approach this thing is going to be impossible. I'm never going to be able to react to it. Like, the sound clip is not the same as when it fires. And then there's the off chance that I try to swing into the Great Machete. Like here. So he has this Avalon to be able to punish my Estus, but he throws a firebomb for whatever reason. And I'm thinking I could just duel him, like, why not? He rolls away and does an R1, which is kind of smart. And then I try to go for a parry on his one-handed Yorm's Machete. But then he gets a blue, and he just swings at me and catches my roll, which is incredibly difficult, and I'm surprised he was able to. But just goes to show that you don't fight out there. Don't do it. Even if it's a solo host, like, if Way of the Blue pops up and he spawns behind you, you have almost no way of escape. And even if you do manage to get into the archives yourself, there's no enemies in that veranda area, so you have almost no options to get out. They can just chase you up the stairs with spears or whatever, and you'll be done. You'll just be done. So here I've taken my soul level 60 strength build to the snowfield to see if I can get anyone. And I do find a gang squad here. However, it's an over-leveled gang squad, which is really very sad. They've got great shields. They've got Yorm's great machete. They've got full armor. So I'm here hanging back with the Obscuring Ring, hoping that they aggro something so that I could have some kind of advantage. I'm thinking in my head that I could just swing into these great shields with the spiked mace, since it does strike damage, and maybe it'll take them down, but as you'll see, they have clearly leveled endurance, and it's going to be bad. So I think I just try to go after the host here, thinking maybe I could just catch him in some kind of lucky roll catch chain or something. But he just kind of nails me with the hammer and the pretty high hit stun that it does. And I realize that if I get hit by 2 of these, that I'm just going to be done because the hit stun is so high. So I back off so that I can get the wolf in on this. So I swing at the host and I see that he's at half health, so I want to just finish it, so I'm trying to put the pressure on without getting absolutely blundered by these phantoms. But this guy Miyazaki shuffles over to me, and he gets hit by the wolf and me. And then is just able to back off as I swing back into him, and I'm able to land the combo and almost kill him. But I just run out of stamina, and he switches over to the Great Shield. So now I've got full Havels, full Great Shield, Yorm's Machete guy, who is definitely at this soul level. Definitely at 60-ish. And I'm getting blundered, but I have the wolf here to help me a little bit. So this Havel is just trying to backstab me, which is not something I realize until it's too late. And I'm down to my last Estus already. So I'm thinking maybe I could backstab him, but he gets me, and it sucks. Like, look at the damage. Look at how absurd that is. Even with the Blessing of the Wolf, there wasn't a whole lot I could have done. That Havel was never going to take any damage, and even if I was able to guard break him, it would have only done so much. Things I probably could have done better there. Maybe Horsehoof Ring. Thinking about Night Slayers. Stuff like that. Also generally going for backstabs on his swings. So here I see that these guys are fighting the Knights out here, and I realize that even by the time I'm going to get to them, that they're not going to be, they're going to have killed them all by then. So I swing at this guy, and I already get him down pretty low. But I can't really do anything with the Sunbro here. So I go for a free aim firebomb, and I screw it up. And they've got a blue, so it's already a 3v1. Using the Irithyll Straight Sword at this soul level, though, very brave of you. Braver than any of the troops. So I switch to the Millwood Greatbow because I know that I've got the Obscuring Ring on, and I just kind of back off. And I figure that I'll just kind of hit one of them, which I don't end up doing. But I think that they're going to chase me now, which they don't do. And this guy just, twitches out of the way. And I catch 2 of them, and then I am just able to switch to Gale's Greatsword again. And I'm able to juke this one spell and catch this Sunbro. And then I catch the blue in a roll catch chain. If I had just swung again, if I had just enough stamina to swing again, it would have worked out, but I didn't. And I'm just able to get through that, and then the PvE finishes him off. Which is very nice of him. And then the spells here are really interrupting me, and then they slam into me multiple times. I'm just trying to escape their pressure through the PvE. And this Sunbro is gunning for me. He is coming after me. I try to poise through his R1, but it doesn't work out. And then they just keep chasing me down. Like, the damage is really high, and they have all the pressure in the world, and the PvE did not interrupt them in the slightest. So I just kind of got blendered. If I was ever able to do that second swing against the Sunbro and the blue, I probably would have been able to take one of them out early, which would have been easier. In hindsight, I probably should have just gone for the host because he was a mage, and then just sort of dealt with the Sunbro's pressure as it came. So I see this host here just hanging out by the bonfire, which leads me to believe that he's going to summon something. But he's alone, so I figured that I could just fight him on my own. So I switched to the Estus ring, I don't know why, probably just to heal because I'm already down like a little bit of health because I dropped off something. So I heal and I'm just going to whack him. Already I'm just kind of nailing him with all this hand axe damage. And now he's got a blue on the way. So I shouldn't have wasted my time and I should have just gone after him. This guy really likes his halberd R1s, and I am expecting the hand axe to just come out earlier, but it doesn't. I'm expecting the hand axe to come out earlier and interrupt him before I can get hit by the R1. So I start staggering my R1s, my spear R1s, to just try to interrupt him. Because he's not parrying, he's not doing anything. In hindsight, a kick here, you know, incorporating kicks in between these R1s would have been great. But then the blue shows up and ruins my riposte. So now I have to back all the way up. Fortunately, I have these to retreat to. And this blue is wearing the anti-dark armor, naturally. And I see that he does like an unlock swing with this Lothric Knight Greatsword that he gets out. For some reason, this blue is just content to run into me, but I finish him off quite well. Staggered R1s, staggered spear R1s, not bad. Pretty good. You can just kind of poke people down forever and ever and ever. And I'm trying to roll catch this guy, but it's very, very difficult. If I had done more running attacks here, probably would have had an easier time. So now I'm thinking about incorporating the kick, but I've already showed my hand now, and he'll be able to counter it. So I back up, and this blue is ready to fight me, so I give him what I got. I switch back to the hand axe because I'm not going to be able to parry this Cathedral Knight Greatsword, like, only if he does that specific attack. And I almost die here, which is fabulous that I didn't. And now this guy is doing what I was doing, just staggering R1s into me. And I poke them both individually, and I would have been able to get a riposte, but I was not. I was absolutely not thinking that he was going to lose his guard so early. So I tried to roll behind him to get some pressure, but it doesn't work out. So this guy does a running R2, and now I've got him wedged between me and the crow, but he's just able to roll away. So I'm chasing him down, hoping that I could finish him off and, you know, get more Estus. So I really start rolling after him. And then I like to think that me failing to use an Estus there baited him into messing himself up. So I swing with the hand axe really fast, and I finish him off. And now the host is on the back foot against the crow, which can hit me, but I'm just kind of out of range of him. Now that I've got the host alone again, I'm thinking that, like, maybe now it'll work. Maybe now I'll be able to just kind of finish him. But I have no more Estus. Staggered R1s. This guy does not even think about parrying. And I've got no health, so I could either try to conclude this duel or I could run off and heal. And what I decide to do is summon Princess Ring and then just kind of wait. But he actually chases me down, which I was not expecting, and I just die. All that for nothing. I should have recognized that I could have incorporated kicks into my R1s sooner, and I should have been able to guard break him and just riposte him. That would have finished this way earlier. So thanks for sharing in my failures, and hopefully I can improve a little bit better now that I've looked at these, and thanks for watching.